From Wichita, Kansas, this is Midwest Sports Saturday. Good morning, I'm Joey McWilliams, and I am very glad to be in KCAC country right now, and we have a big football matchup today. We're midway through the season now. Some teams are starting to find themselves. Both Bethel and Friends ready to battle this one out today, and I am joined by the Director of Athletics here at Friends University. I'm on the beautiful, beautiful campus of Friends University, Dr. Rob Ramseyer. And sir, thank you very much for allowing me to come and be a part of this today. It's such a nice day. Of course, we're out in the open. A little bit. The sun is it may give a little glare, so bear with me on that. That's all right. You'll get some good natural lighting just off me alone. But it is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful day. Great place for a football game and just a great facility overall. I mean, this campus is wonderful.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. It's a great place. You know, I've only been here a year, and I grew up in Wichita and had never really been on campus other than the Garvey Center growing up until I came back and interviewed for the job here. And I keep telling everybody around here they just need to get out here and see it. It's
they have
unbelievable. You get a small Christian school, intimate environment in the middle of a city, and there's just a lot of great things going on here.
It is, and I want to go back to that too. At a Christian school, there are a lot of schools that have been founded centuries, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, that have that as a foundation, but may or may not continue along those lines. I do want to go back and talk about that again, but if you look behind me right now, you can see, and this is one of the reasons I definitely wanted to be field side here, you can see an absolutely beautiful turf field. Yeah. Now, the last time I was here a year ago. This was not behind me at that point in time. Talk about that.
So we have a long history of kind of being on the front end with artificial turf. Giving you the long view, we were one of the first in the Midwest to get artificial turf in the late 90s. And they tell stories about Tom Osborne in Nebraska coming down to see our field as they were putting in something there. And so we were the first in. We installed another one in 06, and then last year we went through a process and selected a Kansas company, Kansas Turf, also Mammoth Sports Construction, to do this install for us. And we went through the bid process, and right on the tail end of it, they formed a partnership with a company that makes the brand Iron Turf, which is what the Patriots have on the practice field. And we went on, I don't know how many fields in that process to pick a field, and this is by far the best surface. I don't care what level, that at least we saw. So we feel incredibly blessed. It looks sharp. We're working with a great company. Our kids love it. Yeah, we think it's second to none in the Midwest, regardless of level.
Well, I wish that everyone had the opportunity to really. I haven't gotten out on it too much because it's game day, and I didn't want to freak anyone out. Hey, listen, don't mess with the field. But it's beautiful. It is nice.
State of the art.
It is state of the art. And I think anytime that you're just in the middle of conversation about football around the Midwest and you drop Tom Osborne's name.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that story because it was right on the beginning of my first year. We went through this process, and then everywhere we went, people told me that story. You know, people at Friends, people other places, the turf salesmen, they all knew it. And it was just, you guys have been on the front end of everything, and that's credit to kind of the ADs back then of Ron Heller and Joe Zimmerman, the president Biff Green. They really were forward thinking in how they designed the facilities and getting us in on the artificial turf early.
Wow. Dr. Rob Ramseyer here, the Director of Athletics at Friends University, and I got to meet you about a year ago and coming up for a KCAC Media Day and getting to be a part of that. That's been fun to do too. Yeah. Of course, you all have that in your own backyard here in Wichita with the football and the basketball media days. But we have football behind us right now, and I know we're pregame. It's October. It's beautiful. It's nice. I'm not sweating right now, which is really a step in the right direction. But with so many things that you all have, you offer 14 sports, I believe.
19
now.
18 NAI affiliated. Then we just have powerlifting this year. That's our 19.
I was going to ask about that one too. Wow. Yeah. You all have won the KCAC Commissioners Cup 4 of the last 5 years. So clearly, you're doing something right here.
You know, we got great hardworking coaches, and they work their tails off. They care about their kids, and they just do a really nice job. And what I tell people is the Commissioners Cups is just part of the story. I mean, 4 of the last 5 is unbelievable. We've had just a nice string of success with good coaches. But we also had 14 of our 18 teams were NAI Scholar Athlete teams, for varsity teams over a 3.0 GPA. I don't know how many years in a row we've gotten a Champions of Character award from the NAI as well. So what we're telling people is you can come here and win, and we believe we're doing that. The data says we are. I jokingly tell a buddy of mine that works at Wichita State, we're the last 2 years we're the most successful athletic department in Wichita, because we won these commissioners cups and across the board. But you're going to do more than that here. We expect you to achieve in the classroom, and the data says our student athletes are, and then we're going to help develop you holistically. We're going to hold you accountable, develop your character, have spiritual conversations with you. And I just tell people, for my money, I don't know, small school experience, can you get any better?
You know what? I think you've defined a great small school experience, but I'm looking around right now, and it doesn't feel too small. I mean, we have some large buildings. I know we have a static shot right now, and I would like to be able to maybe promote a little bit more on the website later on, and even on this channel. But beautiful buildings all the way around, and a city the size of Wichita. What is the population here?
Population, I think it's around, in the metro, about 750,000 people.
Wow.
So, I mean, we were out with a prospective track coach today, and we're talking about Wichita, and the beautiful thing is we were comparing, my wife and I used to live in Kansas City, and outside of the Royals, you really have about everything in Kansas City. In Wichita, as you do in Kansas City, the benefit is nothing's more than 15 minutes away. So you really get kind of the best of both worlds, and there's a small town feel. On campus, you get the small school feel, but you're also access to really anything you want in terms of what's provided in the city.
Okay, that's true. The Royals and maybe the Chiefs.
And maybe the Chiefs.
Maybe the Chiefs. Although I'm hearing at this over the last 24 hours, there are a lot of folks in Kansas and Missouri that are willing to donate their knee to Pat Mahomes.
That's what I'm hearing. Not me. I'm not willing to give it up. But we don't have the Royals, but we have a new city's building a new $70 to $80 million stadium about 2 miles from us to put a AAA team in. So a lot of cool things going on in the city too.
A lot of cool things. Well, of course, the athletic department. We've got football going on behind us right now. The Falcons on the season, 1-5 coming into today's game. Talk a little bit about the football, and we'll continue along, of course, with Dr. Rob Ramseyer, the director of athletics here at Friends. 1-5 on the season.
You know, I think Dion would tell you too, we're disappointed that we don't have more wins. But I would tell you it's a process, and I watched Dion and his staff really working hard, doing the right things. Been decimated with injuries on the offensive side of the ball. We're hopeful today because we were without 3 starting offensive linemen last week. We're without our starting quarterback. We're getting some offensive linemen back, and we just need to keep playing and getting better. You know, Dion has 2 full recruiting classes in. He needs to work at it, keep putting those together, getting freshmen to stick around. And I'm out of practice a couple times a week. The culture is better. It's positive, and we just expect them to keep working at it, and we expect to win as we build on it year after year.
You know, one of the things that I recall from Coach Malini, Dion, you're referring to Dion Malini, the coach here, head coach of the football program here at Friends, and one of the things that stood out to me a lot in my conversation with him at Media Day back in the summer, and I asked him, I mean, your team started 0-6 last year, and so a step ahead of that, at least record-wise. But they came back, they won 3 of their final 5. What did you do? And he said, we just never gave anyone an option of giving up.
Yeah. And that's Dion's personality. I joke with him. He is a guy that is just forward-thinking. He has a very short memory, and he just stays at it day after day, day after day. And for my role, that's what you like to see. You have consistency. You know what you're going to get out of him, and I expect him to keep building it, and we're going to win here.
Talk about some of the other athletic portions of your athletic program. I mentioned 14 a while ago, 18 programs overall. And you have powerlifting now too. How does something like that come around?
You know, I was sitting at a KCAC meeting. I'm not a smart guy, but I'm good at stealing things, is what I tell people. I was sitting at a KCAC meeting.
I believed everything up to then.
And we were going around the table to ADs, and people are asking if you're adding or subtracting sports. And I said, you know, nothing's my first year. We really need to see what's going on. We have some space issues. We're just not going to do anything. And 2 people after me, Ottawa, their AD, Araby Connor, said, hey, we've started powerlifting this year. That person also serves as a strength coach, and we've recruited well, and this and that. And I'm like, that's ingenious. And I spent the next 2 weeks diving into it, saying, yeah, this makes a lot of sense for us. And our cabinet approved it 2 weeks later, and we had a coach 3 weeks later. I mean, it was amazing. And we got Joe Belden, so he's our head powerlifting coach. We have 5 recruited powerlifters here, and then he's also our head strength coach. And he came from North High. He had been a long-time Wichita Public School guy and connected in the same, just doing an exceptional job. So when you ask about football, Joe works with all sports, but we're excited about how our football program can develop because now we have somebody dedicated to that. We've added another full-time assistant this year. We were behind what everybody else was doing. So behind the scenes and working with Dion, we feel like we're getting pieces together to really be successful.
You're a member of the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference, the KCAC. I have enjoyed getting to know a number of the people within the conference and still, growing in the relationships here. Of course, the sports information director here, and we'll get a chance to visit with Levi Convirs just a little bit later on. I've known him for a number of years. I think he is a fantastic guy, and he knows what he's doing, a very good SID on top of just being a really good guy. But in getting to visit with Dr. Crawford a couple of times, Dr. Scott Crawford, the commissioner of the KCAC, and the history of this conference is fantastic. Just to get to be a part of this, and with all of those sports, has to say, wow, this is good to be a part of something neat like this and historic.
Yeah, it's neat, it's historic, and the part I've been really surprised by two things, because as a student athlete and as a coach initially, I was in the Heart of America conference in the NAI, and I've been shocked by two things: how good everybody is in this conference. I mean, my first year, I was shocked on the talent across the board, and then the other ADs. It's a hardworking, professional, intelligent group that collaborates well. I was just on the phone with the Bethel AD, Tony Hoops, because he's somebody we bounce ideas off of, and we both care deeply about the holistic approach to coaching and to athletic departments, and there's a lot of people that care on that end. So it's a neat conference. I'm just enjoying the heck out of it. Yeah.
Well, again, here with Dr. Rob Ramseyer, I'd like for you then to, as we start to wrap up our time here, and I'm really glad that that was a very accurate kick, field goal coming through, and well, that's good. That's all right. Just don't go wide right today. That's all I'm asking. Don't go wide right today. Talk about that holistic approach and talk about what it means to be a university with priorities as they are.
Yeah, you know what? Every coach I interview, every coach I talk to, what I tell them is, if this is just about the sport, it's a total waste of time. And really, whether you're here or you're at the University of Kansas, almost all the kids, this sport thing is over within a couple of years. And how are we cultivating an environment where they're going to grow in all areas of their lives because of their participation in our athletic programs at our university? And that's just not academically. I think everybody says that. But how are we providing space to have spiritual conversations? And we're an open campus. You don't have to be a Christian to come here. But if you're not open to hearing about Jesus, there's probably better places for you. And we want kids to at least explore who he is and what that means for their lives. And the same thing with character development. We are going to hold you accountable. We're going to walk with you, but we expect you to behave in a certain way. And I don't know if the college athletic experience is really worth it if we're not doing all those things well. So that when I talk about that, that's really what I mean.
Well, that's very important. And of course, this channel, the MidwestSports.net YouTube channel, and all of the sites that are associated with that, and the whole of Emerald Quest, that's what we stand for and what we believe in. But just to get to visit and talk about that, and it's not something that's taboo. It's something that's who you are. You talk about who you really are as a person. The athlete is just an added bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I get excited of, for me personally, I'm back in my hometown. I'm working for her president who cares deeply about the stuff we're talking about. I don't know if there's a better job for me in America. We're uniquely in a big city as a private school. It's a well-endowed school, and there's just a lot of good things going on.
By the way, and you're not the only school in town. By any stretch of the imagination. A number of good high schools, quality athletic departments in the high schools here in Wichita proper, but you have Wichita State, NCAA Division I, just up the road. You have Newman, NCAA Division II, pretty much just across the street over there. And I believe at least one junior college?
Butler County. Right outside of town,
So do you ever feel like there's competition within? I mean, it's totally different levels from the athletic spectrum, but is there competition for any of the students or the athletes?
Sure there is, and I think it's more of a statewide thing. I mean, Kansas is populated with a large number of community colleges, private schools, so you're always looking at how you differentiate yourself. But at the end of the day, you are who you are, you market who you are, and try to put a product out there that people want to be a part of. So as a competition, sure. Do I worry about it? Not as much. I hope we can really care about kids and do as well as we can here.
Well, you were putting on a great program here. I want to say I'm very thankful to be here today, again on the campus of Friends University here in Wichita with Dr. Rob Ramseyer. Beautiful field behind me. It gets better every time I drive by, every time I drive up. I'm very thankful to be here, and thank you for letting Midwest Sports Saturday come and have our show here today.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. Thanks.
All right, that's Dr. Rob Ramseyer. Let him get back to work. I know that you have things to do today as well. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and look down the schedule and talk about some NAIA football as well here. We scroll on through here. If I can get this to actually scroll on through here. Let's look at the NAIA schedule in football really quickly now. Talking about that, let's go all the way to the top of the list. And we look at Morningside, the number one team in the country. And we're looking at the rankings today through the NAIF ball rankings. Morningside, number one in the country, at home, taking on Jamestown today. And the Mustangs really have just not let off the gas at all. 15-0 last season and undefeated through this season as well here in 2019. They're doing it on offense and defense, but talk about the offense for a moment with Joe Dolencheck at the QB position. 61.0 points per game. Let me say that again. That's not a basketball score. 61.0 points per game. That's tops in the NAI, as you might well imagine. 617.8 yards per game. That's tops in the NAI as well. And listen, when you can convert on third down with the success that the Mustangs have been able to do that this season, 60.7 third down conversion percentage, that is tops in the NAI as well. AP Ponder has the longest run in the NAI this season as well, a 99-yard rushing touchdown against Dordt. That was back last month, but we talk about what this offense has done through the year. Just wanted to mention him as well. At one point in time with 3 running backs topping the century mark in just one game alone. Kansas Wesleyan, number 2 in the country, just down the road here from where I am right now in Winfield, taking on Southwestern College today. The Coyotes 6-0 in the year, 53.3 points per game. That's third in the NAI, 548.5 yards per game. That's second, right behind Morningside. And I talked about the third down conversion percentage for Morningside. Okay, so let's say you have to go to fourth down, and the Coyotes have found themselves in that position. Listen, this is a team that's not afraid to go for it on fourth down. 20 times this season already in 6 games have attempted to bypass the punt, try to pick up that first down on fourth down. Successful 15 of those 20 times. 75% rate, well, that's good enough for number 3 in the NAI as a whole. But 15 fourth down conversions through 6 games, that's reminiscent maybe of Grinnell football, just going for it on fourth down all the time, and that's just the way it is.
The second quarter projections. I guess I'm going to show you real quick. It's all yours.
Back here on the campus of Friends University, I do want to say thank you to our sponsors, Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and I am here now with James Conley. Not football right now. We're going to skip over to basketball. The football players have something to do. They've got to get ready and stuff, right?
Yeah, we definitely got to get them going, got to get them some wins.
Well, I'm speaking now with James Conley on the Friends University basketball team, an all KCAC player from last season. And James, I mean, it's just about time for basketball already. You guys getting ready now?
Yes, sir. We have our first game next Friday in Hastings, Nebraska, and then we play again that Saturday against Concordia. So, yeah, it's approaching very soon, so we're just getting ready, and hopefully we come out fast and quick.
And you all picked to finish 4th according to the KCAC coaches and media, as we found out. That's a good pick, with a number of teams in the conference like that. You're in the upper half for sure. And I know, the Coach Payton said, well, it doesn't matter if it's 4th or 5th or 1st or last. Hey, it's a poll.
Yes, sir. We got to prove ourselves every game, so we're just happy to be in the top 4, top 5. So right now we're just looking to improve each day.
Now, you get to come out and visit with me a little bit today. I know you guys have already been taking care of business today. What do you all have going on a Saturday today, getting ready for the season ahead?
This morning we just got after it at 9. We went from 9 to 11, and we just got done watching a little bit of film. So we're just trying to prepare as much as we can for our first game with Hastings as much as possible.
Stepping out of conference for your first few games before you get to play that KCAC schedule, when you have transferred into Friends University, it was your first season here last season, course, you got to play at Hutchinson for a couple of years and actually got to make a mark there, so that's not bad. And then transferred to ORU, there for a cup of coffee, and that time was done, and you move on over here to Friends. What brings you to Friends from the transition from junior college? What brings you over here to Wichita?
I just like the family aspect. I believe that Coach Faye brought me in as one of his sons, and he loves each and every player. And as the team looks at each other, we're all brothers, so it wasn't too much different from Hutchinson. So I really enjoyed how the coaching staff and the team just accepted me as who I was and my playing ability.
And you are one of the players able to bring the ball up the court, guard on this team. As you come into your role then as a senior on this team, do you feel like that your role is increasing now, maybe a little bit more on your shoulders?
Yeah, I think my role has increased a lot. I have to show the freshmen and all the new transfers how to come out and expect to win and want to have that mentality throughout the whole year. And it's different from playing in Hutchinson and community college. So JUCO is way different from the NAI. It's way faster here, but it's a fun game still.
Well, you played on a high level at JUCO, though, as you were able to make a couple of appearances in the national championship, coming away with a win in one of those. Talk about playing on that level.
Oh, it was great. Playing with Samaje Haynes-Jones, Shakur Justin, just big-time players like that. It just made my game so much smoother and made it I polished it so much more because I learned how to score off of other players. So me doing that then is going to help me now.
I talked to a number of folks who follow the JUCO ranks pretty closely and are strong proponents of junior college and what goes on there. Would you say that really made a difference for you then, as you just mentioned, smoothing things out and getting you prepared for the next level?
Yes, I think it did. It helped me out a lot. A lot of people overlook JUCO, but I feel like it helps you more than it hurts you. So I think that me taking that JUCO path really helped me a lot in today's life.
And you were able to stay in state?
Yes, sir.
How big a deal was that?
It was a big deal. My mom recently passed in 2017, but right before she passed, we got to win the championship. So that was more of a birthday present for her. So being around my family and just having their support, it just helps me a lot.
I completely understand.
Yes, sir.
That makes all the difference in the world. The KJCAA is, it's well known throughout the country for what that particular association, the conference, is able to do.
Yes, sir.
So you're getting ready then. We're looking at a week away. Of course, we've got football going on behind us right now, and we were actually saved by the upright just a moment ago. There was one headed our way, and the upright took care of that, so I praise God for that. I would not want to get in trouble with the coaching staff if one of the basketball players got injured. Just sitting outside waiting for a football game to begin, not even playing. But
Yeah.
there are freak injuries that happen all the time. I get that. So you all are just days away. What do you expect then from this team and this season coming in?
I expect us to play fast. I expect a lot of shots to get up. We're way more defensive-minded this year. Last year, it was more about us just getting out and trying to beat our opponents offensively. But this year, we're trying to beat them defensively. The more defensive stops we'll get, the easier it'll be for us to score. So I feel like this year, team speed will help us a lot.
And the transition ball like that. Well,
Yes,
I hear all the time, and it's become a running gag, that defense wins championships. Where's your stand on that then?
We won one at Hutchinson Community College, and I can definitely say defense wins championships.
All right. Well, James, thank you very much, and success to you and to the Falcons this year. And as you all are getting ready for the opening to the season, just days away, and it won't be long before you're playing that KCAC schedule. Success to you all, and thank you very much for taking some time with us on Midwest Sports Saturday.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take another break, and we will be back in a moment. Get to visit with Levi Convirs here in just a moment on Midwest Sports Saturday.
Thank you. Okay, see you tomorrow. Hey. Mom, come out here. Sam. ready.
A beautiful day here on the campus of Friends University at Wichita, here in Wichita, Kansas. And we stopped for just a moment going through our lineup of Division II football, so let's pick it up right there where we left off. Undefeated Central Missouri, number 14 in the country, at Emporia State today. And, well, the offense just continues to roll for the Mules. Central Missouri 6-0 on the year. 580.2 yards per game. That's tops in Division II. 53.7 points per game. That's also tops in Division II. 335.7 passing yards for Brooke Bowles and company, and that's good enough for number 4 in Division II. And it looks to me like the 12:05 is on time today in Wichita, cruising through the city. Fort Hays State on the road at number 19, Pitt State today. It is Southwestern Oklahoma at number 21, Harding. Harding won that ball game last week as we were in Shawnee watching that one. The Bisons over the Bison in that one. Harding now 5-1 in the season. Now, the Bisons gave up 21 points, though, to Oklahoma Baptist. Prior to that contest, we're giving up 6.4 points per game. That number has risen to 10.8 points per game. Still good enough for third in Division II. East Central on the road today at Henderson State. Henderson State receiving votes, as are another couple more teams within the MidwestSports.net area. Missouri S&T also receiving votes in the most recent AFCA Division II poll. At Truman, and again, Truman having just picked up its first loss of the season. This, I believe, one of the bigger games in D2 in our area today. S&T at Truman. Also receiving votes in the latest poll, Missouri Western on the road at Central Oklahoma. The remainder of the lineup in Division II, Northwestern Oklahoma at Arkansas Tech today, at Southeastern Oklahoma at Southern Arkansas. Minnesota Crookston on the road at Upper Iowa. Washburn at Missouri Southern today. McKendree at William Jewell. Northeastern State at Lincoln. It is Quincy at Southwest Baptist, and Saginaw Valley at Lindenwood. Texas Permian Basin at Chadron State. Northern State at Wayne State. Chadron State, the Eagles, 152 first downs through the first half of the season. Now, that is the third highest total in Division II. We look at the schedule in Division III really quickly. Wartburg, number 11 in the country at Simpson, probably the big game of the day within this area in Division III. It's Coe at Nebraska Wesleyan, Center at Hendricks today, number 23 Central at Buena Vista, Grinnell at Knox, Loris at Dubuque, and it is the farewell tour for Coach Larry Kinbaum as he and the Washington Bears are on the road at number 6 Wheaton today. That is the Division III lineup. Stepping out of football for just a moment, we stay with the NAI today, and Northwestern, the number 2 team in the country in the most recent poll, and there will be another NAI volleyball poll coming out. I believe it will be this week. It is very likely that the Red Raiders will be on the top of that poll. 21-0 on the year for Northwestern College now. Picked up a big win over Dordt. And just come on around here, Levi, and pick up this mic and sit in. 21-0, a 5-set victory this week over Dordt. Hard-fought win at home. 2 more games on the lineup then, including one today at Midland, number 8 Midland, and one on Monday, a game that has been rescheduled at Jamestown. So if Northwestern is able to pick up those 2 wins, I think almost certainly would be at the top of the NAI volleyball poll, definitely in the driver's seat for another regular season championship in the GPAC, and that would be number 4 in 7 seasons for Northwestern. So the Red Raiders continue to roll, and we continue to roll right along here on Midwest Sports Saturday. I am joined by Levi Convirs. Yep. Very, very thankful to have you on the broadcast today, sir. It really is a privilege to get to sit here and visit with you. Thank you for all the work that you did just so we could be here in Wichita. But, man, I mean, you have a lot going on here with all the activities. You do your job well.
Well, I appreciate that, Joey, and I'll say it's great to have you here. I was excited when you decided to come down here. We're glad to have you here. And I want to say, too, how impressed I am with how much you've grew your business here. I remember several years. I've known you for several years, and I remember when you first started this, and I was kind of with you from the get-go. And if I remember right, you kind of started out with just a blog, basically,
Yes.
just kind of getting getting some word out, writing some articles, and now you've grown it to where you go live on site now, have a ton of viewers, and it's awesome to see. I love it.
Well,
it's great.
Thank you very much. We have our little hiccups along the way every now and again, but you know what? It's been fun, and you're exactly right. That was something that my brother, and I will give a shout out to my brother Matthew, said let's just do a blog together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just have some fun. And I was at a student. I'd gone back to school at Oklahoma State at the time, and just did that, and then got
Yep.
to meet you, and then we
Yep.
turned it into something. But
Yep.
you were a big part of that, so thank you.
I'm glad to be a big part of it. Again, it's impressive to see. God is good. I mean, how far
That's
it's
exactly
come, because you do a great job, with what you do, and I think all colleges around the region, Oklahoma, Kansas, here, obviously Missouri, wherever you go is privileged to have it. So
Well,
it's a great service. We appreciate it.
It is. It's an honor to be here. And that you mentioned that. Let's talk about that really quickly as we get into what we're doing here on campus at Friends University, a special campus. It gets nicer every time I'm here. I talked to Dr. Rob just a moment ago, and it gets prettier every time I stop by. The field is wonderful. Everything is here. We're growing. I mean, there are so many Division II, Division III, NAI schools within the MidwestSports.net regional footprint, which if you're unfamiliar with that, would be Oklahoma and Arkansas and Kansas and Missouri and Nebraska and Iowa. So many good stories to tell, right?
There is, and we are growing, and it's great to be here. I'm in my third year, so in some ways that doesn't seem like very long, but in a lot of ways a lot's transpired since then, and I'm privileged but blessed to be a small part of it here. Just speaking of this university here, it has everything that you would want from my perspective. It's great from the staff. Rob is fantastic to work for. He's as good of an AD, and not just a great AD, but a great guy. I love the way he's kind of put forth his vision for what he wants for the athletic department, and just the Christian mission is a big part of that, and that's real important to me too. And the staff has been great. Nick as assistant AD has been great. The entire coaching staff is phenomenal. And I've been really blessed, too, to have tremendous student workers here that just pretty much do what you ask them to do. Great to work with. And then from a competitive standpoint, that's there, too. We've won 4 of the last 5 KCAC Commissioners' Cups. 14 out of 18 of our programs were NAI scholar teams, along with multiple, medals for champions of character in the NAI. So really, off the court, on the court, it's pretty much all you can ask for here.
It really is. I think there's no doubt. And I definitely want to give you that opportunity to talk about what's going on here, because I know we're going to see some football behind us here in just a moment. And we want to wrap up talking about football, but also shout out to Nick, too, because Nick's been a part of what you've done here. And Nick's about to move on. Yeah,
he's moving on. He's taking a position with the NAI national office in Kansas City. So we wish him well. That's a great opportunity, but we're going to miss him for sure, no doubt. But he's been a huge part of what we're doing, really big part. So he deserves a lot of credit for what's going on.
That just means a little more on your shoulders right now, right?
It could be a lot of us. Yeah. I don't think there's a doubt about that. But we'll manage it. We'll get through it. But yeah, we'll definitely wish him well.
Now, I know you have so many different sports. Of course, the fall sports, basketballs. I just got a chance to visit with James Conley a moment ago, and they're playing Hastings within just days. But football going on right now. So behind us on this beautiful field, in just, let's say, an hour and 15 minutes from now, we get kickoff of another KCAC game. Friends comes in with a 1-5 record. Bethel at 4-2 on the year, and a couple of things to look at from that perspective. Just one win for Friends, able to a solid win in that 1W. Bethel, though, maybe reeling just a little bit. Rattled off 4 wins to open the season, and then have lost their last 2 games. What do you see from today's football contest?
Well, for us, our defense has been pretty solid from the get-go. Last week, we lost at Sterling, which are now ranked number 25 in the country. We lost 22-0. Also in that, we held Sterling their lowest point total of the year and lowest total yardage of the year. So our defense has been pretty solid. We got to generate offense. I think that's where it starts for us. We're starting Javante Stewart at quarterback today. So that'll be the third quarterback we've used.
Right.
Dan Dowdy started the year as quarterback. He's missed the past 3 games. So we're just kind of trying to find a mix and match behind center to start with. We've had a couple offensive line injuries as well. We get 2 of those back today. So that should help the protection up front. Hopefully the quarterback will be pretty sound there. Bethel runs a triple option offense.
Right.
Terry Harrison installed that last year. They had some success with it. They were ranked 25th just 2 weeks ago, and that's before their 2-game losing streak. So maybe we're catching them at the right time. Maybe not. We'll see. But they come in 4-2. So right now, though, for us, we just got to generate some offense.
Right, and that was another thing I wanted to mention too. I mean, this is a strong running game, tops in the country in the running offense, and rightfully so. When you have that option, I mean, it's just going to generate yards on the ground. It's just going to happen. The quarterback, Zach Esau, there was a game, I believe 3 or 4 weeks ago, in which he threw 2 passes in the entire game, and Levi, both of them for touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you can't discount the pass. But the option, I mean, you have to restructure your entire week of planning, game week, for a triple option offense.
Yeah, it's a tricky offense to prepare for sure. And as you said, he's dangerous with his legs and dangerous with his arm. He can beat you either way. So our key is going to have to be put some pressure on the quarterback. Luckily, we have done very well of that. You might see some history here today. Jeremiah Farms has 12 sacks coming into this. He's 2 shy of our single-season school record. And he's averaging 2 sacks a game. So if he stays with his average, you're going to see some history at least.
Very likely.
At least him tie it.
See that here while
so
we're on campus.
that's pretty phenomenal. He's had a great year. He leads the NAI in sacks and tackles for loss. So defensive work's going to put some pressure on the quarterback, maybe get him out of some things that they want to do. And hopefully it'll work out like that.
You know, Levi, this is also a defense that has done well against the run. But when you have a guy like Farms who is as prolific with the sacks, and I believe 18.5 tackles for loss as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is that close?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
18.5 tackles for loss, 12 of those being sacks. When you have a defender like that, well, first off, the other 10 defenders definitely. Mm-hmm. I mean, the rising water will cause all the ships to rise. I butchered that statement. A rising tide.
I got the vibe. I got it. I got it.
So
yeah.
Everybody's going to improve with Farms out there.
I got it.
That's something that also helps the pass defense, but it's a run defense too that's been pretty solid all year.
Yeah, the run defense has been very good, and getting Sherman Arthur back, he was an all KCAC performer in 2017. He set out last year. He's back this year, so that has been a big gain on the back end of the defense too. So defensively we're solid, and offensively we've had our moments as well. Winning 21-6 at St. Mary, kind of with the full cast, has been very, very strong. But we had some injuries that's kind of tripped us up a little bit. But today, hopefully, it kind of all comes back together.
All right. Levi Convirs, the sports information director here at Friends. And we're going to wrap up our time here on Midwest Sports Saturday in just a moment. But I do, again, want to say thank you. But you have a lot of things on your plate. And, again, I read your work. You do good work, and I appreciate that. With all of these things going on, okay, it's football season now, so you probably would say, okay, I might lean to football. List a couple of your favorite sports. You have 18 to choose from, 19 now.
Football is one of my favorites. For one thing, the school I was at previously didn't even have football, so this is kind of new, and I've enjoyed covering it. It's a lot of fun on game days. My favorite sport, the stat, is probably a tie between basketball and baseball and softball. I've just always enjoyed statting those games and covering it. I think with basketball, the pace of it is so much fun, and then with baseball, I'm just a huge baseball fan. I have been since I was a kid, so I would say, but I got that. That's from kind of a personal perspective. Now I got to give the SID answer.
Yes.
All the sports are my favorite.
Okay, there you
they
go.
all bring a certain level of excitement.
I didn't want to get you in trouble.
They all bring a certain level of intensity that I really enjoy. And our soccer teams are doing really well this year. Right. That's going to come up later tonight. Our women's soccer team is 7-0 in the KCAC. A win tonight will be our best start to the conference in at least the last 15 years.
Yes, I saw that this equaled that. Since
Brent's doing a phenomenal job. They're 10-2 overall, and Joe Dencheco on the men's side is also doing really well in his first year. He's got the men at 5-1-1 in the conference and 9-2-1 overall. So both of our soccer teams are doing really well. Volleyball last night lost a tough one to conference unbeaten St. Mary 3-1. We had just beaten another conference unbeaten Ottawa the week before. So things are trending pretty well in the fall season. Hopefully it carries over today in football, and then basketball getting started up next week. Hopefully it just kind of keeps trending the right way.
Well, for a university with an athletic department that's won 4 of the last 5 KCAC Commissioners' Cups, you have to think it probably will trend that way. At least history says it will.
It has.
All right, well, I want to say thanks again for watching today, Midwest Sports Saturday. Thanks to Levi Convirs for being on the show with me, as well as James Conley, and success to the Friends basketball teams, men's and women's basketball teams. Dr. Rob Ramseyer for sitting in with me for a while today as well. We're looking forward to a great football game coming up a little bit later on, a very competitive football game in the KCAC. I also want to give a big shout-out to Jayla McWilliams, and if you've been watching this for a while, you see that there's often a different McWilliams on the crew week in and week out, and so it's fun to get to be dad and get to spend time with one of the children at a time. I have 5 of them. You know what?
I do.
More than one child.
I do, and my son helps me as well at times. I have 3 sons, and so far 2 of them has helped at some point. So it's just a matter of time for the third one does. So the more the merrier.
Exactly right.
Jayla does a good job.
She does, and she has done a fantastic job today, so a shout-out to her. And thanks again for watching. Please be sure and watch this week. Of course, tomorrow night we will have our Primetime 5 from the NAI on Midwest Sports Now. A few other things happening on the channel Midwest Sports Net. And if you have not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. YouTube.com, Midwest Sports Net. Of course, if you're watching this, you're here right now. That means that you've stuck around to the end, so thanks for sticking around at least that long as well. For Levi Convirs, for Jayla McWilliams, I'm Joey McWilliams. God bless you, and have a great day.